All right, ladies and gentlemen, guys, we'd like to welcome you to the show. This is your host of the evening, DJ Just J with Just Dimes ENT. I'm here to talk to you guys about a difficult topic, as I always am. As you guys know, we advocate for children first here at the Soto You Dig. So what we're going to do is we're going to illustrate a story that speaks to our message that we believe in nuclear families. Never heard of a nuclear family? That is a mother and a father that are DNA, mother and father of a child, that bring this child into this world, and they all live under the same roof. That is what I believe that is productive for the majority of us in the United States of America. If we can get back to having nuclear families, I think that this could eliminate a lot of the issues that we have now, but we have to want to have these things. So I'm going to continue to keep showing you guys stories that I think shows you the other side of it, okay? So we're going to say some things that don't sit well with your sensibilities. So if you guys are not ready to handle that kind of content, then all we ask you guys to do is just exit the video. Please exit the video if you guys are not ready to handle harsh criticism or us talking in a manner that maybe doesn't suit your ears or your whatever it is that you believe in. So please don't flaggy my videos. Let's go ahead and get started, guys. Let's go. Now, this incident happened in Linden, Alabama, L-I-N-D-E-N, Linden. A 9-year-old girl's death has been investigated in light of accusations that she was bullied at school and school administrators were warned about it. So I want to say thank you. There was a couple of people that sent me and emailed me this story, inboxed me on Facebook and all of that kind of stuff. I always tell you guys, if you have a story to send me, they will get lost if you send them to me on my Facebook inbox. I generally do not check for stories there, but it seems like, well, you know, such a generic place to email them. I promise you guys, if you will email me the stories, I check those each and every time. This is that beautiful little girl, 9-year-old McKenzie Adams. She is posthumous. From what we understand, they say it's an apparent suicide, so they do not have any confirmation of this. So this is what they're calling it, okay? Again, McKenzie Adams was a 4th grader at U.S. Jones Elementary School in Linden, Alabama. Now, I have a daughter, and she's a 5th grader, so this really hits home to me on a lot of different levels. So I'm going to illustrate that for you. So she was found hanged in the home where she lived with her grandmother on December the 3rd. So this was 9 days ago, the local police told the news station. So what I want you guys to do for me, for the people that are watching, I want you guys to tell me when you notice what's missing in this story. Hit the thumbs up when you guys come in. What's missing in this story? There's going to be an element that's missing as I read this story. What's missing? Instead of shopping for Christmas, we're picking out caskets for my 9-year-old. Her grandmother's name is Janice Adams, Janice Adams. She was a real sweet girl, said Janice Adams, adding that McKenzie wanted to be a scientist, which I think that's awesome. Linden's police chief said that there was a conflicting report coming from the girl's relatives and school administrators about whether or not school officials were told about the alleged bullying. According to school officials, there was no report of bullying made to them officially. Ladyfoot's got it. Loon Tune got it. Anybody who guessed that there's probably not a father involved in this story, then you guys are correct. Hashtag we're the fathers. Hashtag babies for benefits. This might be an indication of that, but I'm also speak on a level of bullying that I don't know if you guys are familiar with, but I'm going to tell you guys why I believe that bullying probably did occur in this story, okay? Because there's some contradicting reports in here. So the grandmother did say that they made a report at the school, but right now it's unclear if an official report or a conversation was had, and this is coming from Linden Police Chief Robert Alston. Now, Alston said McKenzie's death has not been ruled as suicide, but investigators are treating it as an apparent suicide. So let me see what the difference is with suicide and an apparent suicide. Let me see if I can clarify that for you guys. Let's Google search this. Well, okay, awesome. Okay, nothing immediately came up, so let me see apparent. Let's just look up the word apparent. Clearly visible or understood obvious, seeming real or true, but not necessarily so. So it just means that they don't have any concrete evidence that that was the case. So from what we understand, that's what they mean by apparent suicide. Now, the Demopolis City School System released a statement Tuesday afternoon saying that they have concluded their internal investigation to the allegations of bullying which led to this senseless death. Here's the kicker. There have been no findings of any reports of bullying by either the student or the family. The school system statement said they noted that their findings are, quote, consistent with the police department's investigation, but added that Linden's police department investigation is still pending, obviously. So earlier Tuesday afternoon, Alston said that there was an alleged note passing incident with another student the week before McKenzie's death. Now, according to the grandmother, she has kids in the classroom that were making remarks and calling her some derogatory names, and she had gotten into a little bit of a note passing incident where they were saying derogatory things towards each other, and the teacher found the note and reprimanded them both. Did you guys catch that? There was like, where's the notes at? Like, there's got to be some type of proof here. Just something is wrong. They were making remarks to her and calling her some derogatory names, and she had gotten into a little bit of a note passing incident where they were saying derogatory things towards each other, and the teacher found the note and reprimanded them both. So there should be documentation of that. So that's probably one way where they're saying this might not have been bullying. Okay? Now, her mother, Jasmine Adams, said this: "That was my angel. She told me this one particular child was writing her nasty notes in class. It was just things you would think a 9-year-old should know. Wouldn't think a 9-year-old should know. And my baby, to tell me some of the things they had said to her, I was like, where are they learning this from?" Adams said. I mean, come on, like, this is 2018, about to be 2019, and we're having to wonder how kids are having access to, adult content, adult language, adult things, when you see the fact that these children are raised primarily by a group of people that behave badly themselves. Why would a person have to wonder where do children get this from when we continue to keep showing you guys examples of bad parenting that is actually caught on video? We're not just giving you stories with no evidence. That's the cold part, right? We're giving you stories and we're showing you guys video evidence of bad parenting in a lot of incidents. So one does not have to wonder where this is actually coming from. As you guys come in, do me a favor and hit the thumbs up. It'll share the show and let other people know that we're live. We should be over about 200 people right now. If everybody would just band together and do something as simple as hit that thumbs up. But let's keep going. We'll see if that happens. Now, Alston said Tuesday morning that the police had interviewed at least 9 teachers and school administrators as part of an ongoing investigation, and they plan on talking to some of her classmates, which I would love to hear what they have to say. So according to Adams, McKenzie transferred to the U.S. Jones School after the family complained to the Alabama State Board of Education that she was being bullied at her former school in Linden. The family said the harassment continued at U.S. Jones, and McKenzie's aunt, Edwina Harris, and her name is EDD WINA Harris. And she told Tuscaloosa News the harassment seemed to be, quote, racially motivated. Racially motivated. All right. Take your pen, bookmark that part of the story. We'll come back to it. She said McKenzie was being bullied the entire school year with words such as, kill yourself. You think you're white because you ride with that white boy. You ugly, and other insults. Now, after McKenzie's death, an investigation was launched by the Demopolis school, the school district, excuse me, the Demopolis city schools and the Linden authorities. Now, according to the attorney for the Board of Education in a statement Tuesday, that the inquiry had found no reports of bullying. We've concluded our internal investigation to the allegations of bullying, which led to this senseless death, and there have been no findings of any reports of bullying by either the student or the family. And this is coming from attorney Alex Braswell, which is Braswell. All right. Now, all the teachers say that McKenzie was a happy little girl, was always joking and laughing. Now, adding that the apparent suicide was an alarming surprise to everyone that knew her. Now, Jasmine Adams told the news station that the bullying involved things were said that you wouldn't think that 9-year-olds should know about. And before my baby could tell me some of those things that they had said to her, I was just like, where are they learning this from? Now, she was, okay, no, that I already read. I already got that part. Now, McKenzie Adams' funeral is being held at the school on December the 15th. What do you guys think about that? I don't like that. Let me tell you guys why. First and foremost, if children know that one of their classmates has passed, is deceased, is dead, was killed, or anything like that, that's already a traumatic thing for them. Dummopolis. Look, man, I'm going to tell you guys, they need to stop coming up with these dumbass names. Dummopolis. I can't pronounce that crap. Dummopolis, whatever. They need to come up with some simple names. Look, man, my mama was a school teacher, so if there's something I can't pronounce, there is a problem, and I'm not the problem. Spelling and reading was one of my best subjects. All right. They need to come up with some better names instead of these weird names that normal people can't pronounce. I don't like the fact that they're having the funeral at the school. That's traumatizing. That would be traumatizing to the children. Who would want to walk past a casket and see their dead classmate? What? Who is allowing this? Is the school responsible? Is the state responsible? Is the parents responsible? The mother or the grandmother? Hashtag, where is the father? You have not heard a father in this story, right? Yes, guys, y'all heard it right. They are holding the funeral at the goddamn school. Hit that thumbs up if y'all heard what I just said. Most people find it very difficult to go to a family member or a friend's funeral at a freaking place where you normally would have funerals at. I understand where you have a special circumstance where you might have a funeral somewhere else outside of like what do you call it? Not a church. Yeah, like a church. Forget the word I was trying to use. I get that. I have never heard of a funeral at a school, an elementary school. I'm going to tell you guys something. When I was in school and my cousin passed, because we just had his memorial dinner here this past weekend. When he passed my freshman year, it was so traumatic for us going to his funeral that I could not imagine what that would have been like if they would have tried to have it at our school. Keep in mind, this happened on Christmas break in the middle of school. So let's think about this for a minute. As you guys know that I've done a lot of stories about these funeral homes in Detroit, right? Yep, funeral homes, churches. I've never heard of it at a school. Let's think about this. Where are they going to have it at? In the auditorium? In the cafeteria? outside? Let's also think about this. How sanitary is it for a school building? Please understand, this is very difficult, guys. How difficult is it to bring a 9-year-old posthumous young girl, McKenzie Adams, now dead body, into a school? Bringing the casket in, bringing the casket out. Schools are not made for dead bodies. Am I wrong for saying what I'm saying? That's just weird. I think it's wrong. And I think whoever set that up, man, boy, y'all need to. Linden, Alabama. This happened in Linden, Alabama. Guys, come on, man. Y'all can't do shit like this. That's about the weirdest thing I've ever heard of. Like, I mean, you know how traumatized children could be? Oscar Mayer, thank you. A cafeteria is a great place for a funeral. Come on, man. Boy. We'll put a pin in that. We'll bookmark that part of the story. We'll come back to it. That's just horrible. Now, they also said this again. We've concluded our internal investigation to the allegations of bullying, which led to this senseless death. There have been no findings of any reports of bullying by either the student or the family. The findings of this internal investigation are consistent with the results of an investigation of the Linden, Alabama Police Department. At this point in time, Linden City School Superintendent Tim Thurman said that he couldn't confirm any evidence of bullying because all of the teachers and administrators from that time are gone. Wow. Now, Demopolis, whatever, city schools said that it provided grief and crisis counselors along with ministers and youth ministers in the wake of McKenzie's death. Certainly our hearts go out to the family and friends of McKenzie and follow her students and her fellow students as well as her teachers, the school district said in a statement. Now, McKenzie's funeral is scheduled for Saturday at 11 a.m. in the gym at U.S. Jones Elementary School. We got more people that donated to the show. Matter of fact, because y'all donated a very good amount, let me go. If y'all will give me just a moment, let me read these and thank these people real quick that are in the spirit of giving to our show. And thank you guys so much for supporting what we do. So let me read them real quick. I'm going to say thank you again to Tammy B, Jimmy D, Pink Okami. This one comes from, and if you guys don't want me to read your actual name, then just make sure and just type in your chat name whenever you donate anything. So I'm going to say Tiffany Nash. Tiffany, first time donator. Thank you very much. That was amazing, a donation. Thank you. What up, Jay? Just donating to Soto Nation. I sent you a story about a month ago about a college campus prostitute ring that was being ran by the teachers there. Oh, no. I don't know if you looked at it or not. I have not heard that. That's coming from Chris. Hold on, let me make sure. 01000 in the chat. Brother, I missed that. If you have it in your outbox, please resend that to me. I did not see that. Thank you very much for the donation. Keep up the good work. Mary Burden, thank you very much. Second time donating, so thank you. That's pretty cool. For anybody else, the links are in the description box at the bottom. You guys can always reach in and show a little bit of love to the show. Let's talk about this again. McKenzie's funeral is scheduled for Saturday at 11 a.m. in the gymnasium at the U.S. Jones Elementary School. I don't even know what to say about that. I don't even know what to say about that. Like, whoever set that up, y'all need y'all ass whooped. Who set that up? I want to know Who was finally responsible for that? That's just dumb. Damn. I would never want to go back to that school. Guys, this is probably why we need to start considering homeschooling your children for a bunch of different reasons. Now, I'm going to tell you guys this. They're asking for $10,000 on the GoFundMe, and I'm going to show you guys something again. They're asking for racks on racks on racks of money. This is what the GoFundMe says. The McKenzie Foundation will serve as a source to stop bullying nationwide. Work will also not only, does that even make sense? Work will not only help and start the process. Oh yeah, that's definitely incorrect grammar. Will definitely help and start the process of healing to the kids that are being bullied, but to the bully. There is no bullying, they wrote that wrong, bullying without a bully. Attacking both sides of bullying. This was created by Edwina Harris. As you guys know, Edwina, as you guys can see right here, this is who was created by yesterday. Edwina probably should have pledged somebody to write this statement for her. That's horrible. And I can't see anybody contributing to a GoFundMe if people can't even write it correctly. Like, that's just weird to me, man. That's weird. All right, so let's do this because we're going to talk a little bit more deeply about this. We got 209 people in the building. Please do me a favor. Hit that thumbs up. It'll share the show and let other people know that we are live. Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use and is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107. I wouldn't be surprised if it was one of those fourth graders that wrote that for her. To be honest with you, that's horrible. I mean, terrible punctuation. There were typos in there. You're asking for $10,000. It's only 4 sentences long and it's written. It's just bad. What up, Chris Thorin Show 2.0? Y'all make sure to check out my guy, Chris Thorin Show, while you guys are listening. Here's the news story.
Well, an Alabama mother who says bullying led to her daughter's suicide blamed her school for not doing enough to protect the child. 9-year-old McKenzie Adams took her own life last week. Her mother says the 4th grader was the target of constant racial taunts and name-calling. DeMarco Morgan is outside the school in Demopolis, Alabama. He spoke with McKenzie's mother. DeMarco, this is such a sad story. Good morning.
Good morning. Jasmine Adams says she enrolled her daughter here hoping to get a fresh start because the little girl had been bullied at another school, but the taunting continued, so she alerted school officials. But according to police, school officials say they knew nothing about the bullying, only adding to the mother's heartbreak.
My baby, she was happy. She was joyful. She walked in the room, just her eyes just brightens up a room.
Jasmine Adams says after her daughter, McKenzie, started 4th grade at U.S. Jones Elementary School, the 9-year-old started complaining about problems with her classmates.
What kind of problems?
There were children picking on her. I think a lot of it stemmed from she rode to and from school with a little white boy. It was like her best friend.
The mother says one boy would write McKenzie notes in class.
I know one particular time he called her the N-word and the B word.
Jasmine says she voiced her concerns to school officials, who she says reassured her they would keep an eye on her daughter. But on the morning of December 3rd, McKenzie took her own life in her family's home. The results of a police investigation are still pending, but so far police say they have found no evidence the school knew of the bullying. The Demopolis City School System offered its condolences to the family, but says its own internal investigation concluded there have been no findings of any reports of bullying by either the student or family.
So you're saying the school's claims that they knew nothing about this are bogus?
Yeah, they are. I don't know why they would say they knew nothing about it, but they did.
McKenzie's death is part of a sobering trend in the U.S. While the causes are unclear, the suicide rate for children ages 5 to 14 has almost tripled since 2007. Jasmine Adams is imploring school officials to stay alert to bullying by their students.
You have my child 8 hours a day. So that means that we have to trust you to do the right thing when it comes to the safety of my child.
That's not true. You can homeschool your children. You don't have to trust the school to do a damn thing. You know how many times that people trust the school to give their children home training? You know, teach them how to go to the bathroom, teach them how to have manners, teach them how to speak, teach them how to write. These are all things that they should be learning base level at home. Too many of these parents use the schools as a place to babysit their children and to raise their children for them. When they get home, they turn around and sit them in front of the TV, and now the TV is doing the other portion of raising their children. In my opinion, as a good parent, you should be the one that is responsible for the majority of the learning and the majority of the protection and the majority of the things that your child needs. If your child is not getting those things, homeschool your children. Take responsibility, put it in your own hands.
And they didn't do that. They didn't do it. And it hurts.
Experts say there are signs to be on the lookout for when it comes to your child being bullied. Look for unwillingness to want to go to school, falling grades, and also sleepless nights. As for McKenzie's funeral, it's set for Saturday here at her school at 11 a.m.
I understand that mother's pain. It does hurt, and I hope this brings some awareness again and reminder to people about the effects of bullying.
I keep thinking, Nora, 4th grade, 9 years old.
All right, let's go ahead and stop it right there. Somebody actually asked me, they said, what's the average cost? There is a Alabama cremation service that is about $1,000, and you know, not everybody wants to do that. I understand that with regard to burying a family member, but the average funeral cost in that area, let me see. No, that's average cost of cremation. Shoot. They're saving about $7,000 to $10,000 on average. And I don't know that they're necessarily limiting that cost to that particular area. So I really can't say. Maybe you guys can look that up. I don't have time to look it up right now. All right, let's go ahead and move on to our second video because we got a deeper thing we got to talk about. 225 people watching. If those people would, if you're listening to the sound of my voice, just scroll down and hit that thumbs up for your boy. Please hit the thumbs up. It'll share the show and let other people know that we're live. You know, let everybody else that's donating. If you don't want to, cool, I understand, but at least hit that thumbs up. Let's get it.
4th grader McKenzie Adams dons a shirt that says blessed, and her mom says she was.
That was my angel. You know, she was a straight A student, very smart.
But her mother says bullying at 2 schools in Alabama eventually led her to take her own life. She says she carpooled to school with a family friend who was white, and classmates taunted her with racist comments.
Things you wouldn't think a 9-year-old should know. And before my baby could tell me some of the things that they, said to her, I was just like, where are they learning this from?
Mom says she told teachers, but McKenzie's grandmother endured the unthinkable, discovering her lifeless body in their home last week.
Just seeing my baby laying there, not being able to say nothing to me.
The school district is now investigating.
We have provided grief counselors, crisis counselors at the schools, ministers, youth ministers have been on campus.
Local police claim about a dozen teachers and school administrators say they didn't know about the bullying. McKenzie's funeral is Saturday. For InsideEdition.com.
All right. So they're saying they didn't know anything about this bullying. Now, how are you going to prove that? I mean, I really don't know. But this is what I want to talk about, guys. We had somebody in the chat. Let me see. That was Martyr87. How much does it cost to homeschool your kid? If you guys have free time, Google search that for me and then post it in the chat. We're very resourceful here. A lot of people here with good information. So if you guys know, post that in the chat for me, okay? Here's what I want to talk about. So this is the meat of the story, okay? Let's talk about the impact of bullying, okay? Let me shout out 2 more people that donated to the show real quick. Anytime you guys will send any monetary support to the show, I'm going to stop what I'm doing and I'm going to shout that out. I need to start doing a better job at that. We got a couple of new people that have sent some love to the show. And, okay, I got him. Keep up the great work, Jay. Okay, that was Mary Burden. I read hers, so thank you again, Mary. Privacy Seeker. Okay, good deal, man. Thank you, Privacy Seeker. I appreciate that. I enjoy your shows. Thank you for bringing awareness. Smitty XOXO, I see you in the chat all the time. Thank you very, very much. Zachariah Williams just sent some love through the show. Zachariah is in the chat. You do good work. Thank you very much. I appreciate you guys believing in me, man. So thank you guys so very much. Let's talk about the impact of bullying. I think that the best place and best person to talk about bullying is from a person that has actually been bullied. Okay? I'm a person, and I'm going to look you guys in the camera, and I'm going to tell you this. I'm a person that's been through that. Been there, done that. The only time I had to deal with this with regard to bullying, I didn't have it happen from the time that I was growing up, you know, kindergarten all the way through 4th grade. I got to 5th grade, and then all of a sudden, things changed. And I was like, holy crap. And this school was a bit of a culture shock for me because I wasn't used to being around hood dudes. I wasn't used to being around gangs. And this was like right when gangs were at their peak. They were at their most dangerous point where kids were bringing drugs to school. Kids were bringing guns to school. If you wore the wrong shoelaces, the wrong shoes, the wrong coat, the wrong brand, if you walked the wrong way, you talked the wrong way, you could literally die or be murdered at that age. It was a very, very hard thing to have to be around. But thank goodness I only had to deal with it for like 1 year. But again, my daughter is that age. This little girl is also pretty close to that age also, or was. So I can tell you guys from personal experience. When you guys are wondering why they are reporting that there was no actual evidence. No actual evidence of bullying. You know why? Because people like McKenzie Adams, I've been her. Been there, done that. I've been in her situation. And I'm going to tell you guys something. When you're around a bunch of people that didn't have their fathers in their households, and then you are put in those schools, and you act different than them, you talk different from them, you walk different from them, and you believe different than they do, you choose friends different than how they choose friends, you associate completely different from them, oh, they will tear you apart. They're going to talk about you. They're going to say foul things about you. They're going to write and pass notes about you. They're going to throw things at you. They're going to flick you on the ear. They're going to flick you on the head. They're going to brush your chair. They're going to try to take things and steal things from you. They're going to try to make you feel like crap. You know why? Because the have-nots envy the ones that have. Let me say that again. The ones that have not. When you go to school with the disenfranchised, when you go to school with those that do not have a father, when you go to school with those that do not have discipline, do not understand the concept of discipline, and quite frankly, don't give a damn about discipline, you are going to be their target. You know why? Because those children that are not raised with fathers do not see value in themselves. So because they don't see value in themselves, they see no value in others. Like minds think alike. So what happens is others who didn't have fathers and others who don't give a crap about themselves, they associate with each other. They cool with each other. They speak the same language. For the ones that are on the outskirts, they're going to be the ones that get the vitriol from those other ones. People like McKenzie Adams probably did the only thing that she knew how to do, which was when they say nasty stuff to her, say nasty stuff back. What else do you really expect her to do? Fight? Be the bully? Beat up the bully? It's not in every kid to overcome bullying. It's just not, nor should it be. I know the majority of productive people in the United States of America are people that didn't have to overcome these ridiculous obstacles in these ridiculous tasks. They were allowed to live and they let live. Those type of people turn out to be productive. The majority of those people that I went to school with back then, all we have to do is look at evidence of where they are in life. Some maybe are in positive places, some maybe are not. I'm not going to speak on that. But I think that the resulting end of our life's representation of where we are in life now it stems from what we were back then. If we didn't believe in ourselves then there's a good chance that we're not going to believe in ourselves as we're going through our adolescent period, through teenage years, through adulthood, and now we look at ourselves and where are we at right now? What are we doing right now? A lot of them are still doing the same crap that they were doing back then. So I'm speaking to you guys from personal experience. Being a boy and having to go home and tell your parents that you're being bullied, that's not something you're proud of. That's not something internally that you want to go tell your parents. That doesn't make you proud. It makes you sad. It makes you feel like you can't protect yourself. You don't want your parents to go to school like, oh man, my parent had to come up here and protect me. You're weak. Kids can say some very foul things. As far as the teachers, maybe those notes got to the teachers, maybe they didn't. I've been in school plenty of times where I don't know if the teachers knew or maybe they were just so scared of these children and so scared of the backlash that maybe they just turned a blind eye. Is that possible? What do you guys think? How many times have you watched videos of these parents coming to the schools, threatening the teachers? The teachers can't defend themselves. The teachers are getting beat up by students, and the teachers are getting beat up by the parents. How many of you guys have watched at least one video like that this year in 2018? I have dozens of them downloaded that I could post for you guys. It is very possible that the teachers fear for their careers and the teachers fear for their lives. And if they could just get through the day, get through this semester, get through this school year. They're already not being paid a lot. They don't want to lose the little bit that they have. If you go to school for 4 years to be a teacher, the last thing that you want to do is to be forced into a position to where you have to give up that thing and then turn around and what else are you supposed to go do? Where are you supposed to go educate at? That's my career. That's my profession. That's where I plan to retire at. Do you guys see the picture? Picasso, that Picasso's painting right now? Does everybody get that? I'm not blaming the teachers. All I'm saying is that there could be a mentality on the teachers' part that they are afraid financially. They are afraid physically of the children and the parents. They are afraid of being fired. They are afraid of prosecution. They are afraid of not being able to make a living. It is very possible that those things might have floated under the radar and they might have just turned a blind eye just to get through the day. Is that their fault? I say no. I'll say that again. Is that the teacher's fault? I say no. Again, it is the parents' responsibility to train these children in the way that they should go. How many of people agree with that? If you agree with that, hit the thumbs up. Let's move on. Element number 2. While I've done this story tonight, how many of you guys heard about 9-year-old McKenzie Adams' father? What? You haven't? There was no mention of a father? Are you guys shocked? What? There was no mention of a father. You heard about a mother and you heard about a grandmother. Hashtag, where is McKenzie Adams' father? And why wasn't McKenzie Adams' father in the household with her, growing her up into a person that would know how to be able to deal with some of these things? Because I'm going to tell you guys this. The reason why I believe that my daughter, as a father that has been in her life the entire time, because children are going to go through growing pains. Children are going to go through little things, little spats, little things like that. Name calling, all of that stuff. They're going to test their boundaries. They're going to do little things like that. One thing that a father does, and one thing that I notice about her is almost in every single picture that I've seen. Every picture that I've seen, do you know what you notice? Look at her. Even in this picture, in this one, in that one, all of these pictures. I don't know about that one or not. In the majority of these pictures, this little girl's hair was kept in a natural style. I don't see a bunch of weave in her hair. I mostly see natural styles. And guess what? If she was around a bunch of other black children her age, there is a chance that maybe some of that bullying came from girls who didn't understand her having her natural hair in her head. Wow. Wow, Jay. Damn, that's pretty deep. It's pretty deep. You guys know Tommy Sotomayor speaks a lot about the effects of weave. The fact that women are willing to die, women are willing to defend other races of people's hair so they can take it and put it and slap it on their hair and feel good about themselves. Well, what about a little girl? Would they say to clown her and make her feel bad? What kind of names would they call a 9-year-old girl whose family understood the value of her wearing her own hair? That is a very real possibility. But I'm going to tell you something. As a father who advocates for my daughter to wear her natural hair and feel good about her natural hair, to prefer to wear her natural hair, and to understand that her mom may or may not make a decision from time to time to either add weave, but mostly let her go natural, it is important for her to understand that she is loved the way that God made her. It is important to understand that she is beautiful the way that God made her. She understands that her crown is unlike any other's crown. It is a thing to be proud of whatever you have. It is unique to you. Be proud of what you have. There are people in this world that have a lot less. There are people that can't grow hair at all. There are people that are born without limbs. There are people that are born without legs. There are people that didn't make it to be born at all. Life is a precious gift. It is an opportunity for us to develop ourselves into being something productive in this world and to reap the benefits of hard work. My daughter understands that if she has a question, she can ask me. She can ask her mother. If my daughter doesn't understand something, she can come to us. If she has an issue, she can come to us. My daughter understands a joke. My daughter understands when it's time to be serious. My daughter understands how to deal with other kids. She's always been a leader. I think teaching a kid to be a leader, you can have a room full of nothing but leaders. You don't have to have any followers. You can have a room full of just leaders. Her mentality was grown so strong at home. No matter what situation she is put in, she can thrive because she knows how to maneuver. And that is an ongoing process. And I think that that is one thing that fathers provide. Another thing that fathers provide is if she was having that issue, daddy would have went to that school. Daddy would have made it an issue. And there was a point in time where I almost got the principal upset at me to the point to where she was just like, I don't know if I want your daughter at my school if you're going to be coming up here. Because guess what? When daddy has to come to school, they understand that daddy's not playing. This ain't playtime. I don't want any incidents to happen at this school at all. There was one small itty bitty incident, a small misunderstanding with a boy. Daddy came up there and got everybody's side of the story. And I said, this is what I think. And this is what I want to happen going forward. Guess what? We have not had an issue since. And that's been what? 5 years. 4 or 5 years. Not one incident. In and out of the next grade. In and out of the next grade. Daddy will protect his girl, his little princess. He damn sure will. And the fact that you had a little girl that was so emotionally torn, so emotionally weak, that if we believe this story, I do know that children can get that depressed because I was at that point at one point in life. And I think the only thing that got me through that 5th grade year that I was being bullied was the fact that my father fortified me emotionally to be able to handle all of the bull crap that I was thrown that one year. Because it's a lot of times, a lot of us want to give up. Y'all know what that's like. You get to a point in life where you're just like, damn, like, this is too much. We all will experience that at some point in time. They have a National Crisis Center hotline. Let me see if I can get that on up for you guys real quick. Let me see. The National Suicide Prevention Hotline's number is 1-800-273-8255. And they are available 24 hours a day. So know that. For any person that's listening to my story or anybody that might be experiencing something that might be a little bit too difficult for you, I would hope that these mothers who have absolute control over these children, I would ask, reach out to the fathers. Allow the fathers the opportunity. Allow the fathers an opportunity. Another prevention method is there's a phone number that they could also reach out to and call on their own. But I would hope to never hear another story like that again. And I would hope that we continue to understand where these problems arise from, where their origins are, and how do we fix them going forward. All right? So this is your boy DJ Just Jay signing out. I thank everybody for at least listening to my thoughts, listening to my opinion about this story. I know this is a little bit hard for everybody. And I thank everybody that sent me this story. And I hope I did you guys justice.